Hello and welcome to the 7th video of the 8 video series on this Microsoft Sentinel hands-on lab. If you've been following along with this whole playlist, you probably know by now all the things that we have covered up with, from starting all the way in the front of setting up the environment all the way to the last one with creating watch lists. If you're new to this playlist or just have clicked to this video, you can go and check out the whole playlist to have a more broader understanding of this whole series. You can also try this specific lab if you want to, or if you want to just gain knowledge in general. You can also look through this video, but just for the context, if you want to follow along with this lab, in this one specifically, you need to go through the lab 1 and lab 2. So yes, getting into the lab 7, it's all about the threat intelligence. And in this module, we will demonstrate how to use Microsoft Sentinel Threat Intelligence, the TI features and product integration points. So yeah, as I mentioned during this module or during this lab, we rely on the TI data that we ingested in lab 2. So yeah, just in case, as I mentioned before, if you want to follow along, make sure that you have completed that lab. And like in this lab, we will also discover how to visualize and use this data as part of the investigation and detection. So as you can see, like the first exercise is about threat intelligence data connectors. So for this, in general, if you want, you can have like 2 different ways in which you can have these connectors, like I can show you. So just go back to your Microsoft Sentinel, and here what you have to do is, like, when you go to data connectors, in this you can see like there are 2 options. One is like the threat intelligence platforms, the TIP connector, and the second being the threat intelligence taxi connector. So if you have followed along, in lab 2 we had our connector done through TIP, that is the threat intelligence platforms, and like this, it's based on like third-party platform solutions. Like it can be from Palo Alto, there can be Threat Connect. The ones that we use was OpenVault, OTX, which you can check out. So it's quite an easy process. Still like a few different things that you have to go through, but yeah, it's still doable. You can like understand it quite well, and to get started with it, make sure that here, like, you have to just click on the Open Connector app, and once you do this, you can review all the connector prerequisites. And notice that to enable this connector, you need specifically, you need to be like a global admin or security administrator, or like have the ownership in your like current Azure AD tenant. So just in case if you're using your company Azure, or like you have your own Azure AD setup, make sure that you are signed in as the global admin or security administration. Like, you can, again, as I said, you can follow along with the video that I have presented in the lab 2. The second option, which is you can use like the threat intelligence taxi, and this was quite commonly used before because of the Anomaly. When Anomaly had like free version of their threat intelligence API, and since they decided to stop it because of financial reasons, and I mean, it quite makes sense for them to do this. I think this has been quite tedious for many people to go through, but yeah, just in general, for the detailed prerequisites and general instruction for this connector, you can like also visit the official document from Microsoft about this particular thing. Like I can quickly show you. I will also put the link in the description And like here you can see like the whole article, and you can read about it. Like the main thing that you need is your like the API root URL and the collection ID. So in general, if you have like already a paid version for yourself, you can like quite easily use it and you can follow along. So this was basically our task 1, where we just talk about different data connectors which are like present for like threat intelligence. Like as I said, there are 2 options. The next exercise is about exploring the threat intelligence menu, and like as we discussed in the previous exercise, we have like 2 different ways to ingest TIA, or like ingest the TI data into Microsoft Sentinel, and you can use one of the many available TIP products, or like you can connect again with the taxi servers and to take advantage of the TIX or the STIX compatible threat intelligence feed. So the ingested IOCs, like indicators of compromise, coming from any of these TI feeds is stored in a dedicated table, which is called as Threat Intelligence Indicator, and visible on the Threat Intelligence menu. So for this, what you have to do is like make sure that you go back to your Sentinel, and here what you can do is like you can follow along and go to your threat intelligence in threat management. So like click here and you can see all the information that's present here. There are like all the logs with different TI indicators, and as I mentioned, like you can see all the IOCs that are like added here. Now what we do is like we will on the left navigation link, like again here we will go to logs, and this will like redirect you to the log analytics query interface. On the query interface, we can see on the left side the tables with the relevant fields. So the Microsoft Sentinel built-in tables have predefined schemas to be able to see like the threat intelligence indicator schema. What you can do is like you can just run a simple query. I can show you. So you can go back and like here, and you can run this, and once it's completed, you see the complete results for it. And afterwards, when you see all the information, like there's tenant ID, tenant generated, like there's a lot of things. Now what we do is like we can explore and delve into the TI table. So again, we will run a small query in this, and like you can copy along, which is like this, and in this it will take like 10 records from the table. So like instead of ingesting everything, it just shows the 10. So to understand if a specific IOC is active, we need to have like a closer look in the columns. So these columns are expiration date, time, and active. So like when you go here, that's the expiration date, time, and the active column. So in a particular example, we can see that, let's say the first one, that the IOC is an IP that is active with future expiration date. This means that our matching detection rules, and these like we will review in the next exercise, will take this IOC into consideration when correlating with the data sources. So now after we ingest our TI data into the threat intelligence indicator table, basically what we have to do is to review how our SOC can leverage and manage the TI menu to allow us to search, tag, manage the life cycles of IOCs. So again, what we do is we go back to our threat intelligence. So here, so in the left navigation, we click on threat intelligence. This menu is like again the visual representation of the threat intelligence indicator table. And now what we do is like select any specific you can select any specific IOC. It doesn't matter like which, you can select one, and whatever you will select, like let's say if you change this, then you change this, like all the parameters on the right panel changes according to and presents the metadata of the selected IOCs. So on the top area, so like here on the tags, what you can see is like we can filter the list of IOCs based on specific parameters. So in our case, we only ingested one type of IOC, which is like the IP, but the type filter allows us to like filter based on different types. If we ingested IOCs from like multiple TI data sources, the source filter allows us to like slice it. So like there's multiple options that you can use here. Now normally like the part of the SOC analyst job is to like manually add an IOC into the TI index from time to time. So like this allows other data sources and detections to correlate and detect interaction with this IOC. So again, in this threat intelligence, we stay at this point, and what we do is like we will click add new. So here on the top option, and this what we'll do is this will open a new indicator dialog box, and in the types, what we do is like we will select the URL, and in the URL what we'll type is like we will type a specific URL, which is like HTTP phishing. This is what we will use. So just quickly click on it. After clicking on this one, what we'll do is we will add the tags. So basically tags helps us to add metadata on this IOCs. So in our example, we want to tag this IOC with its associated incident ID. So on here, like on the add tags, what we do is like write incident. So incident 4326, and just click on OK. Afterwards, once you have done this, on the threat types, select the malicious activity. So like again here, add. What we do is like we click on types and type malicious activity. After you've done this, you can add a description, like basically saying what it is, and just in case if you want to. And here in the confidence level, you can type 80 or 90 depending what you want to. You can also set up a valid from and like until date. So for this, what we do is like we select, let's say today, and we can make it till like 2 weeks for an example, and then you can click on apply. So now what you'll notice is that there's the newly created IOC on the Threat Intelligence menu. Be aware that every new IOC that is added in the Threat Intelligence menu, it will also be added automatically to the Threat Intelligence indicator table. You can like also validate it by opening the logs menu and like run a simple query. I can like already have it. You can just see like this, you can run it and it will show you that it's already added in the table. Now let's say like going back to the Threat Intelligence menu, let's say we want to view the description column as well in this, like here. So what we need to do is like we need to modify the column order for the menu, and by this like all you have to do is like you have to click here in the column button on the top bar. Next, what you do is like you can, in this choose column options, click on description and click on apply. So once you do it, you can see like there's also the description option here, as we just left it empty. It's empty for our newly created IOC. Now let's say in a scenario that in some days you got information from your SOC team or from your threat intelligence team that they say that this new IOC that we created, this URL indicator, is not relevant anymore, and we need to delete it from our menu. So all you have to do is like just select this and click on delete. And after confirming, the threat intelligence IOC that you created is now deleted and does not exist in your menu anymore. So this was the second exercise. Now we move on to the third one after exploring the threat intelligence menu, is the analytics rule based on threat intelligence data. So in this, like one of the main values of the threat intelligence data is on analytics rule, and like in this exercise we'll review the analytics rule types we have in Microsoft Sentinel that correlate with our ingested TI. So now what we do is like the first is like review and enabling the TI mapping analytics rule. So for this, again, we go back to our Sentinel, and here we first go to analytics. So like now moving to analytics, and then right now we switch to the rule templates tab. Now what we do is like in the filter we click on data sources and make sure that you select the, just a second, yep, data sources, and select the threat intelligence platform. So threat intelligence platform here, and okay, for some reason I can't find the apply option. And we'll quickly do it. Yeah, like once you select the data source and like filter it to the TIP, the next thing is like, yeah, you apply and you will see all the information here. So as you can see, there's like a long list of resulting alert templates. These all will correlate with different data sources with the IOCs present in your TI table. So like your threat intelligence indicator table that we created to detect any trace of malicious indicators of compromise in your organization's log. So again, you can like also see different information about these rules as well. Like you can find various documents about it. So as you may know that it is free to enable analytics rules in the Microsoft Sentinel. So the best practice is to enable all of the ones that apply to the data source that like you are ingesting. So after reviewing this, what we do is like we again view the matching analytics rule. So for this, again, we stay on the analytics part and also on rule templates tab. Now what we do is like again going back, and in the filter we select the rule type and select the threat intelligence and apply. So once you do this, the resulting rule template matches Microsoft generated threat intelligence data with the logs you have ingested into Microsoft Sentinel. So like these alerts are very high fidelity and like are usually turned on by default. Now what you can do is like you can select the rule template and notice the different data sources that are supported. Like normally here you can like see in general, after you click it in the right panel, like there's multiple information that it says, like data source, like it is CEF, that is common event format, via legacy agent. There is also DNS that you can find and syslogs normally. what you can do is you can click on create rule now, and in this wizard click on review and create. So here, and just save it. Now once you have done this part, we will move to our fourth exercise, which is the final exercise, which is about Threat Intelligence Workbook. So workbooks provide powerful interactive dashboards that give you insights into all aspects of Microsoft Sentinel, and threat intelligence is no exception. So in this exercise, what we will do is we will explore a purpose-built workbook to visualize key information about your threat intelligence in Microsoft Sentinel. So now we will go to the workbooks, which is in the threat management section, and make sure right now that you go to your templates, and in this find the workbook which is titled Threat Intelligence. So here you can find it on the right panel. You can see that here you can click on save. Also make sure that it has all the information. You can read it. Make sure that you read it properly, and after reading it, in this you can see the required data type. Then there's the connected, or the green check next to the threat intelligence indicator table. So now we just select the save button and choose the Azure location to store the workbook. So I will choose mine, and you can choose based on what you have chosen before. This step is required if you're going to modify the workbook in any way and save your changes. So now select the view saved workbook button to open the workbook for viewing and editing. You will find some pre-built visualizations, you can see it here, that show you the indicators imported into Sentinel over time by type and provider. So here you can see that there's a few information. To modify or add a new chart, what you have to do is you can go and select on edit button at the top of the page to enter the editing mode in your workbook. So now what we can do is let's say we can add a new chart of threat indicators by threat type. So to do this, you just go to the very bottom, and here in the add option, click on add query. So here, after you click this option, you can in general add the following log, which I will add as well. And once you add, in the visualization Dropbox, so here make sure that you select bar chart. So select the bar chart and select on done editing option. So once you have completed this, click on the done editing option, and what you will see is you have created a new chart in your workbook. So here, as you can see, with all different informations. So that was about it for the lab 7 of this series, where we had a lot more information about in general threat intelligence, having different things that we did with 4 different exercises with a lot of information as well. If you liked this series till now, which is in the penultimate video at this point, make sure that you subscribe for the final one, and also for different videos, projects and information that will come up. If you liked this video in general and you found it informative and you learned something from it, make sure that you also give a like on this video, so that it helps the YouTube analytics for me, so that it reaches more people. And also, if you have difficulties, if you have problems, or if you have questions or anything that you want to say, just feel free to use the comment option in the video, and you can ask questions. Just feel free to do it. And yeah, I'm glad that you stuck until the end, and I hope to see you again in the final video of this series.